my participant list. All right. By the way, my name is Sadhana Sami Subaya. Right. A very good morning to everyone. Right. And just would like to welcome Mr. Koo, Mr. Cheng, right, Lee, and Ui, right, from uh, Architect Aki Prima. Anybody from Architect Aki Prima representative here? Because you're four of them supposed to be in. Anyone? Anyway, we go to the next person, and then Lily Tan, then Nick Rohana, Aimi, Punita, Rajeswari, Pute J, Lee Le Kim, Neo Suk Kim, Hamsaveni, Andrew, and Dora. We just had a word them. Okay, a very good morning again, right? Today I'm going to, all right, before we start, actually, there will be some questions and answers and all that. So let's say I have brought in a number of agencies. Government agencies. What are the requirements? They have actually relaxed their requirement, right? So let's say you have got, you want to find out anything beyond what it is there on the slide. You can actually most welcome to interrupt me along the way. Then I can give you the explanation. This one. The other thing is actually most of you all are only looking at the slides, right? You have not been given the slide. I've just updated the slides just in the morning for a reason because last night they announced that the MCO is going to be extended to 12th May, right? So I've actually updated my slides, right? So I will actually send these slides to MEA, right? And MEA will send these slides to all of you all via email, because some of the deadlines I can be explaining to you all over the online, but you may not remember, especially for LSDN deadline, customs deadline, right? For service tax, sales tax, when are you supposed to pay? And then SOXO, precursor, or you have got what do you call HRDF payment and all that. So we'll go through all the slides. Basically, I'll be going through with y'all initially, right? So the topic here is the latest government stimulus package to ease the financial and operational burden of SME, SMIs, enterprise. Well, I'll be talking to you all about what are the government stimulus package, right? And then after that, I'll talk to you all about Bank Negara, all right? What are the special requirements that they have actually relaxed in order to help the SME, SMIs, especially when you're talking about moratorium period and all that for the term loan as well as also the credit card and the hire purchase and all that, right? Let's say you are owning a car, they have deferred, and also I can explain to you whether it's worth actually taking advantage of this stimulus package, or I mean this incentive or not, right? Because sometimes there's accrued interest and all that, right? And then I will be talking to you all about the SME financing as well, right? You have a number of packages that they have come up with, like for example, the special relief fund, right? All sector economic fund, right? And then for digitalization, right? For agro food and all that. So I'll go through that. It's going to be the later part of the session that I'll be discussing about all the financing, and I also will be giving you all the link, right? Where I've also attached the links here, so you can actually go through the links to actually take advantage of these loans, because some of these loans are actually without collateral plus zero interest and things like that. So it is good for you to take advantage of these facilities. All right, let's move on. Okay, the Malaysian government, right? Government of Malaysia, right, has unveiled, right, 260 billion economic stimulus package as COVID-19 cases, as a package for COVID-19 cases, right. Here I'll give you the breakdown, right. In fact, the first 20 billion was announced on the 27th of March by the interim Prime Minister Tun Mahathir Mohamad, right? Then subsequently, when the COVID-19 surge, right, in Malaysia, and they came up with the MCO and all that. So that's the time where the new government has actually come up with another 230 billion. So 250 billion is inclusive of 20 billion. And then subsequently, a lot of these NGOs and SME associations and all that, they were actually pushing for additional funding, right? And that's where they have actually come up with 260 billion. All in all, so far, the government has actually come up with 260 billion as a stimulus package for to help assist SME, SMI, as well as also the corporate companies, and at the same time, individuals as well. I'll be also going through what are the incentive given, right, for individuals, right, those who are actually single or married and things like that. Okay, so 20 billion was announced by interim prime minister. Another 128 billion, right, was announced, right, to spend on public welfare. And then for business purposes, to support business, right, the government has actually allocated 110 billion, and another 2 billion, right, to strengthen the country's economy. Can all of you all hear well? Isaac, can you give me the feedback? Can anyone cannot hear me? Before the start, I think we better have to verify that. Isaac, can you how
Yes,
shall I
clear.
find out whether
Very clear.
everyone can hear? Sure.
Yes, very clear.
Clear. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Can I move on?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, the economic stimulus package is 260 billion. Okay. The next one is the government has also come up with 10 billion one-off cash handout to the middle and lower income group, especially the B40s and all that. And then here again, right, they have actually allocated about 600 million for free internet, right, during the MCO period. Okay, so in fact, all these Maxis and Telcom and all that, actually they're giving free internet services. And then another 400 million, right, is also allocated to wider network coverage. Okay, now I'm going to go through with y'all overall. Subsequently, I'll be going through with y'all specifically what are the the number of agencies, what are the requirements, how they have relaxed, how they want to assist the SME, SMIs and all that. Okay, here they have actually allocated 13.1 billion to SMI financing, right, to help SMIs. And do you know that in Malaysia, now, when you talk about the government linked company, when you talk about the public listed company, talk about the MNC, right? These companies actually they constitute about less than 2,000 companies. When you talk about SME, SMI, actually they have got more than 700 over 1,000 companies. Which falls under SME, SMI. SME, SMI is the one who's actually, I know, giving a lot of. If let's say SME, SMI if they actually run out of business or they close shop, it's going to have a lot of severe impact for the Malaysian economy. So that's why government has realized that and they are giving a lot of assistance to these SME SMIs. But I feel that this amount that they have actually allocated for SME SMIs are still insufficient. Right? When you talk about during this period of in July, right? June, July, and August, things are not going to be easy. And cash flow is going to be a biggest problem for SME, SMI. And we are coming up with another course training where we are going to actually help how you can actually turn around the company within a very short period. But anyway, we don't look into that first. I'll explain to you all the what are the facilities that is available in the stimulus package. Then another 50 billion, the government guarantee scheme for the corporate sector, government has also allocated. Now let's look at the stimulus package for households. All right, anyone who's earning less than 4,000, right, you will be receiving 1,600. When April you'll receive 1,000, in May you'll receive 600. And any household where the salary is between 4,000 and 8,000, then you will be given 1,000. So the first payment will be paid 500 in April, and the other payment will be in May. I think most of us or most of you all have already received this amount, right? And if you're not, you can actually there's some link, right? You can go and apply, right? And you can also, appeal to the government. Okay, when you talk about single individual, right, who's earning less than 2,000, right, they will be receiving 800 with 500 credited in April and the balance 300 in May. And then when you talk about single individual where the salary is between 2,000 to 4,000, they'll be receiving 500 and they will be receiving 50% in April, another 50% in May. Okay. Okay, here this is basically summary. Yeah, so this one later I will actually email to y'all, right? So it's very difficult for y'all to remember everything within 1 2 hours, right? So to help, y'all can use this as a guide later when you actually start. I mean, when you go to work and all that. And I'm not talking about this, but I'm talking about the other slides as well. Okay, this is a summary of the package that has given to the individuals. Okay, here your criteria to qualify, basically you must be married, single parent and all that. I think that's, I don't want to run through this. I know I'll run through this very quickly. Right, you must be a Malaysian and you must be a widower. If you know what I mean. These are some of the requirements. So right, this one you can actually later refer back, or I think it's already it's already been implemented. So I don't want to touch right on this area. Okay, the other one that I would like to just share with you is if you those who have actually signed up with My Salam, all right, and My Salam, the deadline was 31st March, right? You should have actually signed up for My Salam. You will get 50 ringgit per day, for 14 days if hospitalized under the COVID-19 case. And let's say you are one of the victim of the COVID-19, then they will give you 50 ringgit per day for 14 days through My Salam, right? Besides that, they do have got some benefits which I'll go through with you all later, right? And then those who are staying in the permanent residence, they'll be given 6 months rent exemption. Okay, so for the stimulus package, right, the links are here, right? New application can be made starting from 1st April, right? So LHDN links is here, www.hasil.gov.my. Then for bantuan Sarah Hidup, you have also got, and at the same time, Finance Ministry. These are for more for individual. That's why I didn't want to emphasize much here, so we can move on to the other package, especially for the SMEs. Okay, here, right, I don't know whether you still remember, right, the first few industry that was hit hard was the tourist industry, the airline industry, right, and the hotel industry. So therefore, during that period, when you talk about the 20 billion package that was announced right during Tun Mahathir's period, right, was to give one-off payment, right, 600 ringgit to each of these taxi drivers, tourist bus drivers, tourist guides, and research pressure drivers. So I don't know. I mean, this payment has been made. I don't know whether all taxi drivers and tourist bus drivers have taken advantage of this or not. If you have anybody, please just inform them, because a lot of them are not aware what's happening. 2 days back, I went to one of the grocery shop here, right, and I was talking to the person, the owner, and he's not aware of all the facilities that is available, right? So after going through with me for this two-hour session, if you can help, right, this is a crisis, we have to, everybody is having problem, everybody is going to go through hard times, right, for the couple of months and all that. So we have to help each other if we can, right? You can disclose some of this information that I'm going to share with you to people who really need help. Okay, the other thing is actually for doctors, nurses, and all that medical staff, right? They are giving monthly allowance, right? They have increased the monthly allowance of 400 to 600, and then even you're under contract, you are given, okay, and they are going to actually extend the contract for the doctors, nurses, and medical staff, and they are coming up with only 6 months. I think it's not fair because they are actually really doing a lot of great job. So government should actually value their effort. They should extend beyond 6 months. Okay, anyway, let's move on. For police, army, customs, railway, and other involved in carrying out MCO, 200 ringgit monthly allowance is given beginning from 1st April until the end of COVID-19 pandemic. For students, right, the government is also paying 200 ringgit one-off payment for those who are studying the public university, polytechnic, and private university. And now, when you're, let's say your children or your kids or your brothers or sisters are who are actually doing Form 6, all right, they are also being paid 200 ringgit one-off payment. So they are also eligible, those who are doing Form 6, tingkatan 6. Okay, and the other one is PTPTN loan, right? They have deferred for another 6 months. So you don't need to pay the PTPTN loan until September 2020. Yeah. Okay, and then the other stimulus package, right? This is for private retirement scheme. All right. You can withdraw up to 1,500 from account B without incurring penalties from April to December 2020. Yeah. This is for private, those who are actually invested in the private retirement scheme, they can actually withdraw up to 1,500 from account B. And then let's say when you talk about if you are actually your company, right, you are leasing or you are renting, right, from a government, building, right, a government office. It's actually it's a government building, for instance, government-owned buildings, right? Like for example, school canteen, daycare centers, convenience stores, and all that. All right, you will be given exemption for up to 6 months, rental. So you don't need to pay rental for 6 months. And then telecommunication, all right, free internet service for all telecommunication services, all right, service customers from 1st April until the end of MCO. And for your information, all right, Prime Minister actually announced that our MCO has been extended, to 12 May. Yeah, all right. That's why I've actually updated the slides today morning, right? And then they have also a few new things that have been announced yesterday by EPF. I've also included that slides as well, right, for all of y'all. Okay, and then for the civil servants, right, you are paid 500 ringgit one-off payment for those who are actually serving the government services where the grade is below 56, right? You are paid 500 ringgit, and a lot of people were actually not too happy for reason because they have been paid when there's no pay card or unpaid leave or things like that. And actually, the people who are deserving is those who are working in the private sector where there's a lot of pay cut and they lose a job and all that. And so they say these funds are going to be paid to the private sector. But anyway, um, for some reason, they have decided to keep. Okay, anyway. And then for the retirees, right, they are paying one-off payment as well to pensioners, for government pensioners. 250 will be paid in April, another 250 will be paid in May. So for e-hailing drivers, right, they are also paying 500 ringgit, all right, one-off payment. Okay. And then those who have actually admitted in the hospital or been affected by COVID-19, right? There's bantuan khas, 100 ringgit a day is given for those Malaysians who lost their source of income or were not paid during the observation and surveillance order. And at the same time, those Malaysians who have lost their source of income or were not paid while receiving hospital treatment, you will be paid 100 ringgit a day under bantuan khas COVID-19. And then the other one is for zakat, 500 zakat from federal territory, so that is given to each asnaf person, right? From in April, and then another 200. This is from Lembaga Zakat Selangor. Another 200 to 500 will be given to Malaysian citizens, all right, who are staying in Selangor for not for at least 3 months, and the income must be at least 4,360. Then you will be eligible, and whereby your income was affected or lost due to the outbreak. Okay, so that's the government of Malaysia, the special aid during the COVID-19. So the next area that I'm going to touch on is going to be on what are the facilities, right, or what are the assistance, right, what are the what are the requirements that Bank Negara or the financial institution has actually relaxed to assist the SMI, SMEs, and also the individuals. All right, we will look at what are the assistance that Bank Negara has proposed, right, for this COVID-19 COVID-19 infected people, person. Okay. When you talk about Bank Negara, okay, here they have come up with the participating financial institution. Right, all these financial institutions should actually help assist the SME, SMIs. When you talk about, yeah. Anybody, anything? Yeah, anybody got any question? Okay, if all right, okay, let me move on. So here, all these participating financial institutions must comply, all right, must follow, all right, whatever Bank Negara has instructed them to do so to assist the SME, SMIs, right? But unfortunately, I've been getting some feedback from some of these commercial banks. They are not actually giving much assistance to the SME, SMIs, which we will share later, right? When I go through with you all the slides on the financing part of it for SME, SMIs. Okay, let's look at the first thing that they have announced, Bank Negara announced is deferment and restructuring of loans or financial facilities. Here they are talking about as an individual. Sorry, cannot hear me? Hello? Any issues? Okay, you will be given the slides. I'll ask them to send the slides to all of you, right? Okay, not to worry, right? Okay, so when you talk about deferment and restructuring of loan financial facilities, this actually is for SMEs, SMIs, as well as also for individuals. Let's say if you have taken a term loan, right, a bank loan, right, and then you are supposed to repay, all right, monthly installment, all right. So now what Bank Negara has announced, right, there will be a moratorium period. Moratorium period is for 6 months. That means you need not pay your installment, right? And here, uh, for you to be eligible, your term loan should not fall under the non-performing loan. That means it should not, let's say you are actually already taken a loan and then you are not regularizing the loan right on time, and let's say that the loan you have default for more than 90 days, then you will not be eligible. But let's say you are a prompt payer, right? Even let's say you have got secrets, that's not an issue, right? You can be eligible to actually take advantage of this deferment, right, of the term loan. Okay, so here the one catch here, right? I mean, where I will not actually recommend, or I want to highlight to you, right? Here you will defer. That means you don't pay your installment, but the interest, right, that you have incurred during this period, it is been accrued. Remember that it has been accrued, meaning you have to still pay the interest, right? So they may not actually, what do you call? They may not actually pay. I mean, put a penalty or fine and things like that. But this interest that you have not paid, right, will be accrued. That means, at the end of the day, you still have to pay the accrued interest, right? So I think a lot of these NGOs and associations has been putting forward to the government, right, for them to actually remove the interest element. But so far, right, banks are still very stubborn, right? They're still adamant. They say so they still have to pay for the interest, right? So, but they give you a moratorium period for 6 months. You don't pay. After that, you have to pay the interest in areas for the 6 months that you have not paid. There's a catch there, right? So you have to be careful. And the other one is for credit card facilities, right? You are, I mean, let's say those who are owing for credit card, right? You can convert that credit card facilities into term loan, right? And then the prevailing interest rate, right, announced by Bank Negara is 13%. So you can convert that, and the loan can stretch up to about 3 years, right? So here, all card holders are eligible to participate in the conversion package regardless of their level of income. Okay, interest profit will continue to accrue, which I mentioned to you, right, for the term loan, right, on loan financing repayment that are deferred, and borrowers will need to honor the deferred repayments in the future. So banks will not be charging compound interest on loan during the moratorium period for individuals and SME customers during the deferment period. But still, though they don't charge you any compound, right, interest on loan and all that, but still the interest portion of it you have to pay later. So you have to think twice before you take advantage of this term loan. If you have got money, just pay off your term loan, all right? Okay, in fact, who are eligible, right? A sole proprietor, right? Partnership business, limited liability partnership, Sendram Berhad, right? These people are all eligible, and anyone who's been classified as SME, defined by SME Corporation, will also be eligible. And then for individuals, right? When you talk about individuals are eligible, small and medium enterprise and corporate customers are also eligible. Okay, when you talk about you may be asking a question, all right? Let's say, all right, I have actually applied for bank loan, right? And they already approved my bank loan, and the bank has actually paid partial, but my house or my property is under construction, all right? Will I be eligible? Yes, you will be eligible as long as you have taken a loan from the bank. Though if it's not completed, but there's a outstanding, there's a loan that you are actually paying installment, right? You can actually go for this deferment. Okay. And then when you talk about those SMEs, all right, another criteria here, if let's say some of the SMEs has got about more than 20% stake in publicly listed companies and all that, they cannot actually, they are not eligible, right? If you don't, I mean, let's say if you have any investment, all right, you have actually purchased shares and all that from public listed companies, and the shares, uh, the percentage does not actually increase. It does not exceed to 20%, then you are eligible to apply for these facilities. Okay, and then at the same time, right, resident, non-resident, you must, the other criteria here is you have to hold at least 51% of shareholding in SMEs, right, and you must be Malaysian to be eligible for these restructuring facilities. And the other one is all businesses that is registered with SSM is also eligible, as well as also some of these companies are actually registered with Sabah and Sarawak statutory bodies for professional services are also eligible. Okay, and when you talk about here, Bank Negara has come up with number of financing, number of funds. All right, so here the term, right, they give for this loan tenure is for 5 years, including 6 months of moratorium period. That's why it's 5.5 years, right? So for some of the loans, right, you need not pay any interest. There's no collateral. And then when you talk about if you're taking from any commercial banks and all that, you have a CGC to support. CGC will support up to 80%. So end of the day, the exposure to the bank is going to be only 20%, right? So you're not required to pay any interest or profit installment, or installment during the first 6 months. During moratorium period, right, if you are taking any of the loans and things like that, you need not worry, right, for 6 months. Only you start paying the installment after the 7th month. 7th month onwards, you're supposed to pay. So that is one of some of the announcement that has been made by Bank Negara. And let's look at the other areas, right? So as far as some of the what you call collateral, right? Normally, the conventional way or the traditional way of banks giving you some financing is normally they'll ask for collateral. For this case, because it's a special case, it's a crisis, right? So there's no collateral for some of the facilities, right? Some of the and it has been guaranteed by Credit Guarantee Corporation. So it is up to 80%. And if you want to take a loan, if you want to take overdraft, no way. No way they are going to give you any loan for overdraft. And then also cash line facilities or trade facilities will not be included in this package. It's only, especially when you talk about the special relief facilities. I'll discuss with you all on the special relief facilities later, all right, in the other slide, maybe in another half an hour or 45 minutes. So here, when you talk about special relief facilities, right, announced by Bank Negara, no collateral, and then what you call this, I mean, especially when you talk about if you're taking a loan less than 75,000 through Bank Negara Malaysia for microcredit and all that, no interest, it's interest free, right? And basically, right, if you're taking from the financial, I mean, commercial banks and all that, right, it is being guaranteed by CGC, or Syarikat Jaminan Pembiayaan Perniagaan. Okay, what are the documents that you need to furnish, right, when you're applying for the loan? Basically, you're talking about the identification card, right, of all the directors, and then your business registration certificate and other documents applicable. Basically, you're talking about they will want your. You see, though they may claim that you need to furnish only few items, but when I got all the feedback from the number of banks and all that, those who have applied. They're looking at your financial audited accounts, right, for 2018 that we have to finish them with that. Then they talk about three months of bank statement, but actually you go for 6 months because when you talk about there's no any much transaction during the month of February and March, right? So you can actually go back to for 6 months when you want to support your bank statement, right? When you want to give your bank statement, they want to see the transaction. And besides that, let's say you have got your tenancy agreement with your landlord and all that, they need that as well, right? Because when you give them the business address and all that, they want to see how long is your tenancy with them and stuff like that. So these are some of the documents, the normal documents that you need to furnish, right, when you're applying for this financing. Okay, and then when you talk about these facilities will be available from 6 March to 31st December. All right, I've also given data, the slides I've also given, right, some funds, all right, you can apply up to 30th September, some funds you can apply up to 31st December, some funds, there's no any period, you can apply anytime. And here the facilities will be available for from 6 March, right, until to 31st December or until the exhaustion of the funds allocated, whichever is earlier. Okay, when you talk about the other one, Bank Negara announced is hire purchase or loan and financing deferment. Okay, this is hire purchase, as you know that it is actually computed based on straight line method, right? So here they give you 6 months moratorium period. So you can, you can take advantage of these facilities. That means because you need money, right? So you invite your company. Let's say you have got purchase, vehicles like lorries and cars and things like that. So you can actually you need not pay for 6 months, right? But that will be extended another 6 months. Let's say your hire purchase agreement, right? Ends let's say 31st December 2020. All right, with this facility, it will end on 30th June 2021. That's how it works. All right, for hire purchase, it's good if you want to take advantage of this hire purchase where you can defer the payment. So there's no loss in terms of what you call value, in terms of not say value, you can defer, right? So it will not have any, it's going to be to your advantage, right? That's what I'm trying to say here, right? Did not pay more interest or profit, or there's no late payment charges whatsoever, right? So you can take advantage of this. Okay, the other thing is that you want to find out, right, whether, let's say, your company, right, it's under secrets, right? Secrets is where if you when they delay your payment for even 1 month, your installment payment, it will fall under the secret. Those who are under secrets, you are still eligible. And then let's say in some of your, if you want to do, you would have actually restructured your financing with the AKPK. All right. So even if your financing is under AKPK, you still qualify, right, for this financing, for these loans that has been given. This loan are actually purposely being created for COVID-19 to help assist the SME SMIs. Okay, when you talk about the other one, it's your life insurance. life insurance, right? They have also given 3 months, right? And your policy will be still in effect. That means even if you don't pay, right, your life insurance premium, right, it is still valid. So sometimes, you may be worried that if you don't honor the payment, then let's say anything happen to you, will the insurance company cover because you have not, because due to non-payment and all that. So the insurance company has come up with 3 months. Bank Negara has actually informed or already announced, already instructed all insurance companies to actually give them 3 months period. Even you don't pay, your policy is still effective. And then when you talk about the other one, where I want to touch on the, in fact, when there's they will also waive the fees and charges imposed for changes made to policy. There's also the insurance company will also waive any penalties due to the late payment and all that. So there will be no penalty and whatsoever, right, for late payment during the MCO period, during the movement control order period. Okay. And then when you talk about for SME, SMIs, of course, you would have taken a lot of these general insurance, not only for your car, for cash in transit, for burglary, for public liability, right, and for so many other fire, health, and stuff like that. All right. So they have also for 3 months, right, it will still be in effect. So general insurers and general takaful operators will facilitate a request for flexibilities by affected policy holders, all right, to meet their premium contribution during this period to ensure continued risk protection. That means your properties and business insurance, all right, will be still be protected, right? You can actually talk to these general insurers, right, and request them to, and they are supposed to be flexible. And this is a instruction given by Bank Negara to all the general and the life insurance. Right, and at the same time, Bank Negara have also instructed them to actually expedite, right, and facilitate the claims, right, to process the claims fast, and then priority to be given for the issuance of guarantee letters. If let's say your company requests for guarantee letters, right, so they have to actually, support, right, your business. Okay. And let's say you are an individual, let's say your car insurance, right, and road tax is expired, right? So you can still drive your car. You are still, they will not actually fine you, right? And anything happen to your car, right? Insurance is still covered, provided the customer must have a valid motor insurance policy, right? Which effect between March 18 to May 12. May 12 is the end of the latest MCO period. The customers must possess a valid driving license. Okay. Then the other thing, the insurance company have already set aside about 8 million to provide cover, right, for the screening costs at private hospital for COVID-19. Right, and they can pay up to 300 per pax, right, for those who have actually got a medical insurance policy with the insurance company, right. So for COVID testing, right, you will be given 300 ringgit. The insurance company should bear or should support, right, or you can actually claim from 300 ringgit from the insurance company. Okay, all right, that's on the Bank Negara side, right. Okay, Bank Negara side. And then I will be going to, okay, next I'll go through, all right, with y'all on the LHDN, right, on the LHDN area. And after the LHDN discussion, all right, I think we can go for about 15 minutes break, right? And then we will continue with the other agencies, right? So before that, do you have got any questions, anything that you all want to know more about the stimulus package or the announcement by Bank Negara? Anyone?
Yeah. Is it possible to ask now?
Yes, Dora. Better, good that you ask now. No problem.
Yeah, because I'm under this essential service and
Okay.
actually a supplier.
Okay.
We don't have factory, we just supply. we are working, but those company like us, do we anything that we can actually claims from the government for our staff?
Yeah, actually, how many staff do you have? In fact, I will be going through with you all on that, because if we let's say you're paying so and you have registered with the EIS, Employment Insurance Scheme, right? And then you can, I mean, the government will subsidize, right? I mean, depending on the number of staff. Let's say if you're SME where your staff number is more than 200, then they'll pay you 600 ringgit. If it's for 3 months, if let's say if it's less than 200, more than 75, then they'll be paying you 800. And then if you have got less than 75 staff working with you, right, you will be paid 1,200 for 3 months, provided that you cannot actually dismiss them for minimum 6 months. I'll go through with you all on these slides. I have got these slides as well.
That's good. So if that is the case, I wouldn't ask now. Maybe later.
Okay. Anything to do with Bank Negara side?
Not exactly, yeah, not exactly. Because my employer did ask actually whether is there anything for the company to be able to actually benefits for the staff.
Okay, I will go through with you all these slides, all right? This is where you are talking about the government will subsidize, all right, some form of payment, depending on the number of staff that you have in your organization. I'll also give you all the link, and I'll also give you all the, what do you call, the link for you all to go and apply, right? And then the time period for you to actually take advantage of these facilities, right? Through Pekeso or Sokso, right? I have got some slides. I'll go through with you shortly. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to go through with you all on the what do you call Indian revenue. What are the facilities that they have provided for those who are affected by COVID-19, for especially the small and medium enterprise. Okay. Small and medium enterprise, okay, this is for Indian Revenue Board, LSDN. Small and medium enterprise are allowed to postpone payment of installment, tax installment. Tax installment for 3 months beginning 1st April 2020. Yeah? And then as for the tourism sector, I know they have been hardly hit, right? So they have given 6 months period, right? To postpone their installment payment, 6 months for tourism side. Okay, for other affected sector, they are allowed to amend the tax installment of 6th income payable in the 3rd, 6th, and 9th installment. So as you know that now you have to pay, you have to pay in advance. So for this tax installment, right, you can actually amend, because as you know that your forecast can be definitely be different from the actual, right, because of the MCO plus also the other factors, global issues and all that due to the COVID-19, right? So you can still amend your assessment of the business. Okay, here, the other thing is LSDN is coming up with is to encourage employers to invest in raising the employees' productivity during the economic slowdown. Like for example, you want to actually provide them with training and things like that. So for these particular expenses, right, LHDN has allowed for double deduction, right, for companies on money spent on approved tourism related training, especially this for tourism industry, right? And you send this tourist guides and all that, because they have been doing tour, guide business and all that. So they want them to go and work in a factory. They may not have the skill. So let's say the company has sent them to upskill these people, all right? Then you actually, whatever that you have spent, you will be given double deduction for tax purposes. Okay, when you talk about, let's say you are renting, right? Let's say you have got a landlord, and then you are renting a building from this landlord, and this landlord has given you, right, he's kind enough, he said, okay, Nevan, I give you rental free, right, from April to June. You need not pay any rental and things like that. So that rental payment that he has actually given you free will be treated as an allowable expense for taxation purpose. So they are being waived. I mean, what you call Inland Revenue has, will allow this rental income to be treated as an allowable expense, as an expense instead of income. And at the same time, right, that's one if they are giving the rental free. The other one is where you have given them your tenants, and you have given them, let's say, your SME, right? I'm the tenant, right? And let's say the building owners has given me more than 30% discount, right, during this period for rental payment. That will be treated as an allowable expense for taxation purpose when it comes to the tax. So this is to encourage a landlord, right, to allow to allow the companies to be there, right, free of rental. Okay, here the government has also come up with a special grant that is 2.1 billion. They're looking at about 700,000 SMEs, companies registered with SSM, right, to give them a grant for 3,000 ringgit, right? And today's paper also, I did see, right, there's some of these guys are actually, coming up with some scams to say that, oh, we will arrange for you the 3,000 ringgit grant, all right, you give us all the information, your bank number and all the stuff and all that, and then we will help you to assist to get the 3,000 ringgit. Remember this, right? This 3,000 grant, they have not actually informed in the form of whether they are going to give you in cash form or they're going to give some kind of a grant and stuff like that, right? It is yet to be announced later by Ministry of Finance, right? So now they are actually taking down all the information, right, by way through SSM or through local authorities, right? They wanted to see who are those who, companies, right, SMEs, right? They're trying to get the facts now, right? All the 700,000 companies, all right? And they have not announced in any form how are you going to be given the 3,000 grants, right? They're going to get all information from SSM. They're going to get all the information from state government, right? Let's say you're providing any services to state government whatsoever, and then they will get a full list after which they are going to give grant. So don't be taken for a ride by these scammers, right? You have to be careful, right? So these are given to, they are expecting to give 700,000 SMEs. So this is 2.1 billion. And one criteria here, right, for you to be eligible for this grant is you have to register with LSDN. You have to register with LSDN, right? Though you are not paying any tax, and in fact, let's say you are a small company, you are not taxable and all that. So even you are not paying, it is good for you to go register with LSDN to take advantage of this grant from the government. This is to support the SMEs, right, in another form. Okay, let's look at the deadlines here. Okay, so extension of IRB deadline under movement control order, right, from 18th March to 12 May 2020. Right, you can look at the title up there. So your annual tax filing for year of assessment 2019, B, that means for the individuals. So now your statutory deadline is 30th June. You're supposed to do the e-filing, right? They're given the extension, right, to 30th June. The rest of it, when you talk about your company B and Form PT and all the other stuff, right? They have given the right up to the filing extension is 31st August, right? Our Merdeka Day, 2020. Okay. Then when you talk about CP204, CP204 tax revision submission and all that, right? They've given up to 31st May. Oh, I think there's the extension yet. I think I've updated there. I did not update yet. Sorry. I think yeah to 31st May. I couldn't see because of the participants. Extension given up to 31st May, and I mean so you need not worry. You still got one more month to actually handle. I mean to submit all these what you call filing. All right. So economic stimulus package 3 allow 3 months deferment of CP. 204 payment from the date of extension, and companies of tourism industry deferment of 6 months. For tourism industry 6 months, for the other industry 3 months from the date on to our MCO. Okay, the other thing is individual, right? 30th June as well. And then for non-individual, non-resident, they've given 2 months extension. That is also 30th June. Sole proprietor, right, August. Okay. So all CP 500 is also June. So you have enough time. Today is only 24th of April, so therefore you have got enough time, right? So I assume that by they may remove the lockdown by 12 May, right? So yesterday I was actually also giving a training program, right, for GoPO, and I was a bit shocked, when I saw for custom for sales tax, they are supposed to pay on the 13th of May. Suddenly I say, why they choose for 13th May? So that means custom actually got the information much earlier that they are going to extend the MCO to 12 May. Yeah? So that's why they gave us the date 13 May, which I will go through shortly on the deadline. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so for the employer, all right, okay, that one was for the employees and the individuals and all that. For the employer, all right, for the your manual e-filing extension is it's extended to 31st May, and then for CP38 to agents, I know some of you all are also from HR, right? I think you may need. Okay, you may need this information, right? So they've extended up to 30th June as well as also 31st May. So you still have got time for you to do the e-filing. Yeah. Okay. So far, do you have got anything on the IRB? All right. Do anybody want to know anything beyond what it is being actually disclosed on the slides? Anybody here?
No, not that.
Only Dora is actually participating. The rest of them are listening. I said I just wanted to find out whether everyone is already in. Isaac, are you on? Okay. Anyway, what do you think? Do you want to take a 5-10 minutes break, or you want to still continue? Anybody wants to go to the washroom, or I can't go that long. I think never mind. We'll take a 5 minutes break. Is it okay?
Okay.
Isaac?
Okay.
Okay, so okay, then what we do is we will take 10 minutes break. Anyway, I'm free. Everybody is free, so not a problem. We are still on the MCO, so not an issue. I will make sure that all the slides are completed, and later I will also email to you. So I think.